One Night in Miami is out now on VOD, and it's pretty incredible.
You brothers, you could move mountains without lifting a finger.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon, and this is Film Flare, where we discuss anything and everything that makes film and television great. So be sure to subscribe, and let's talk about a great movie. One Night in Miami is a fictional account of a real night where four icons of the civil rights era, Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, and Malcolm X, get together to celebrate the newly crowned boxing champion, Cassius Clay.
I'm the new heavyweight champion of the world, and I don't even have a scratch on my face.
This particular story is based off of a 2013 stage play by the same writer. I'll circle back to him in a moment. Just in case you couldn't tell when this story was set by the characters, the movie itself wastes no time letting you know exactly when this story takes place.
Oh, you should let me help you with that.
So considerate of you, Jimmy, but you know we don't allow niggas in the house, so it's quite all right.
While this film starts off by taking a look at all of our main characters separately at less than ideal moments in their lives, it's not until they all come together that the story takes a more aspirational tone and really gets started. The plot of this film is essentially four friends together in a room talking about their lives, their ideas, and their futures in an otherwise uneventful night. Something that just about every friend group has done at one point or another and everyone can relate to. But when those four friends are some of the biggest African American names in the civil rights movement, that conversation takes on a whole new meaning.
This is one strange fucking night.
And the cast of actors tasked with playing those actors and holding those conversations is absolutely phenomenal in this one. First and foremost, Goree absolutely killed it as Cassius Clay. His imitation of the sound and mannerisms of Cassius were nearly spot on, and I loved his ability to be a cocky, arrogant asshole in public, yet a shy and quiet boy when there's no audience around for him to perform for. Remember, at this point of his life, Cassius Clay was only 22 years old and still debating his turn to Islam, not yet becoming Muhammad Ali. He may be the newly crowned world champion, but he's still a young man dealing with all of the growing pains outside of the ring. And Eli played that duality exceptionally well.
I told you suckers I was the greatest. All of you must bow.
Then we had Aldis Hodge, a favorite of mine, playing the legendary football star Jim Brown. He didn't really say much, opting to be the quiet observer in the group for most of the time, but when he did speak, he chose his words very carefully, and I think it was actually him that made the strongest point of the night, and he managed to do it in one of the quietest moments of the film.
I mean, if the goal is for us to be free, to really be free,
Then you know it is.
then the key is economic freedom.
Leslie Odom Jr. starred as Sam Cooke, the famous artist who loved to party hard almost as much as he loved to make music. And Leslie was perfect for this role, showing off both his acting and his singing abilities in this one, which is honestly what we've all come to know and love him for. And while his music reached millions, it was his business moves behind the scenes that he secretly prided himself on.
Everybody talks about they want a piece of the pie. Well, I don't. I want the goddamn recipe.
He took the brunt of Malcolm's ire, but really he held his own and even managed to prove that it's not always the loudest voice in the room that makes the biggest difference. And then this quartet was rounded out by Kingsley Ben-Adir playing none other than Malcolm X himself. Now, I feel like every friend group knows a Malcolm. We all have that one friend or know that one person that's too woke and makes everything about race no matter how innocuous the subject. And that's exactly who Malcolm is in this story.
We can't all just go out and declare the white man the devil.
Oh? Why not?
He was honestly kind of an asshole of the friend group in this one, and at times he even felt like the bad guy, antagonizing his friends just for having outlooks that differed from his even in the slightest. But by the same token, we were also privy to some moments of genuine sincerity and concern behind all of the bravado. And we can even come to understand where all of his angst and rhetoric comes from.
And that is why, Brother Sam, this movement that we are in is called a struggle. Because we are fighting for our lives.
All of the interaction in this friend group just feels very real and authentic to the audience. And finding a talented actor to portray just a single one of these men would have been difficult. But to get this whole cast together is a feat unto itself. This film was an incredibly humanizing look at individuals known for their larger-than-life personalities and their contributions to an entire generation. And while their contributions and accomplishments have been analyzed and commented on for decades, it's the human behind it all that often gets lost in the bigger picture. And I love the fact that this story focuses on their true selves behind closed doors rather than the personalities they've shown to the world. And most of that comes down to the excellent writing by Kemp Powers. This was somehow the first feature-length film he's written. He also wrote Pixar's animated film Soul, but I'm giving this the original credit, as this is the story he came up with and first premiered way back in 2013. And even then, this was the first stage play he wrote too. I think it's safe to say that Kemp Powers knows how to write incredibly moving stories, and I really hope he keeps telling them for years to come. And coupled with a great story from Kemp Powers was brilliant directing from Regina King. This was also her feature-length film debut in the category of directing, but you honestly cannot tell. This entire film was beautifully shot and directed, from the spectacle of the boxing match to the intimacy of a hotel room. This film may tell the story of great figures coming together, but behind the scenes, there really was a whole nother convergence of amazing talent that's just getting started as well. Now, this movie wasn't what I was expecting, but at the same time, it was so much more than I ever thought it was going to be. There have been plenty of stories about leaders from the civil rights movement, but none of them have given such an intimate look into the people themselves removed from all of their accomplishments. And by focusing on just one single night in their everyday lives where nothing was at stake and the world wasn't bearing down on their shoulders, was a really refreshing look at these great men. And I think One Night in Miami is a fantastic film that deserves to be seen more than just one time. But what do you guys think of the movie? Let me know in the comments below. It's available now for streaming on Amazon Prime Video. But before you do that, please do be sure to give this a like and subscribe for more reviews like this. We've got new content coming out every week. But until next time, have a great day, and don't forget to watch a great movie. Bye.
Black power. I like the sound of that.
I wish I lived in America.
We have to be there for each other.
Heard everybody rich, all I gotta do is run, jump, kick, I'm a hit in your area. I done made it to America. I'm amazed that America is to America.